The battlefield in eastern Ukraine erupted once again in chaos and destruction as Azov Regiment's FPV drones struck with terrifying precision, obliterating a column of Russian motorcycle troops attempting a rapid assault. Witnesses described the scene as a lightning strike of modern warfare, fast, ruthless, and utterly devastating. The Russian motorized units had been moving under the cover of dust and smoke, attempting to penetrate Ukrainian defensive lines with speed and surprise. Their motorcycles, armed with machine guns and grenade launchers, tore across the fields at breakneck pace, hoping to catch Ukrainian positions off guard. However, the Azov fighters were already watching from above. FPV first-person view drones, controlled with pinpoint accuracy, hovered silently in the sky, tracking every movement of the Russian formation. The operators bided their time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Suddenly, the first drone dived. With a chilling buzz, it slammed directly into the lead motorcycle, igniting a violent explosion that threw shrapnel and bodies across the battlefield. The Russian column immediately descended into chaos, their attempt at surprise completely shattered. One after another, the Azov drones struck with surgical precision. Each hit was devastating, motorcycles burst into flames, riders were hurled through the air, and those who tried to regroup were relentlessly hunted down. The battlefield became a deadly graveyard of steel, smoke, and scattered troops. The Russian soldiers attempted evasive maneuvers, weaving their bikes in desperate zigzags across the terrain. But the drones were relentless, adjusting mid-flight with uncanny accuracy, striking down riders one by one as if guided by an unseen hand of vengeance. From their forward monitoring stations, Ukrainian fighters watched the entire scene unfold with grim satisfaction. Reports crackled over the radios, describing the attack as a complete annihilation of the Russian motorized unit. What the Kremlin had envisioned as a daring and mobile strike force was reduced to smoldering wreckage within minutes. The few survivors who managed to escape abandoned their motorcycles and scattered on foot, leaving behind their dead comrades and shattered equipment. When the smoke began to settle, the battlefield revealed a haunting sight. Dozens of motorcycles lay destroyed, their frames still burning, ammunition scattered and detonating sporadically in smaller explosions. The blackened silhouettes of fallen riders were scattered across the ground, a stark reminder of the merciless efficiency of drone warfare. The attack had not just eliminated the enemy, it had obliterated their morale, leaving survivors too shaken to regroup. Analysts observing the aftermath have pointed to this strike as yet another demonstration of how dramatically drone technology has shifted the balance of power on the front lines. A Russian motorized assault unit, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment and training, was wiped out by a handful of Ukrainian drones that cost only a few hundred each. The economics of the battle were as devastating as the physical destruction, proving that Russia's reliance on mobility offered little protection against the cheap but deadly eyes of Ukrainian drones. The Azov Regiment, infamous for their fierce resistance since the earliest days of the invasion, have perfected drone warfare into a lethal art. Over the months of conflict, they have destroyed tanks, artillery, supply convoys, and now motorcycle troops with chilling effectiveness. Their drone operators are often described as gamers turned warriors, combining reflexes, precision, and nerves of steel to deliver death with the same intensity as flying through a virtual battlefield, but with consequences that are horrifyingly real. Russian commanders, stunned by the sudden loss, were left scrambling to adapt to the new threat. But the psychological impact was undeniable. Soldiers knew that no matter how fast they rode or how daring their maneuvers, they could never outrun the drones hovering above. The constant fear of sudden destruction weighed heavily on morale, turning every open road and every advance into a gamble with death. Meanwhile, Ukrainian morale surged. The footage of the attack, captured from the FPV drones themselves, quickly spread online, showing in brutal clarity the exact moment motorcycles exploded into flames. Each strike was a propaganda victory, reinforcing the message that Ukraine's defenders were not only resilient, but technologically superior in adapting modern tools of war. The destruction of the Russian motorcycle troops underscores a broader truth: the nature of modern warfare has changed forever. Traditional tactics that once relied on speed, armor, or surprise are increasingly obsolete in the face of agile, remotely piloted weapons. Military experts believe that this single battle will force Moscow to reconsider the viability of using lightly armed motorcycle units in open terrain, knowing that Ukrainian drones can dismantle them with ruthless efficiency. For now, the message is chillingly clear. Ukrainian FPV drones, especially in the hands of the battle-hardened Azov Regiment, have become one of the deadliest forces on the battlefield. Russian troops now ride and march with the ever-present fear that somewhere above, unseen and silent, a drone is watching, ready to strike without warning. No matter how fast they move, no matter how daring their maneuvers, the grim reality is unavoidable. They cannot outrun the eyes of the drones.